of all those who are all on call now, do they have this SQL Server installed, or you guys still having any one of you online facing this issue? I know Madhu had some problem initially and it was resolved. Apart from that,
Um, Vaishnavi, your thing is installed, right? That SQL setup.
I think yes, because yesterday we solved one function on
Yeah,
Vaishnavi.
from my side, okay.
Who is having problem? Mansi, huh?
Yeah, Mansi.
Can you ask her to show our screen so that we'll quickly fix that?
Yes.
I have downloaded my MySQL workbench, but it is asking for Visual Studio 2019 C++. But I'm not finding anywhere to download this option. Wait, I'll be sharing the screen. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. From 2 3 days, I'm doing on this only, but I'm not getting this. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes. Which one you picked here? This MySQL installed, but MySQL installed, but Workbench did not get.
Yes, yes.
Come down.
This one, right?
Yeah. Come down.
This
Come
I'm
down.
getting.
Yeah.
Ah,
Here.
this
No.
is
No. Thanks. Just to start
just now.
manually.
I have restarted and I have started downloaded so many times. I did the same thing, but it is asking for Visual Studio to
No.
download.
No. Just do it again. I think if it is by internally should get it. But yeah, do it again. I
Huh.
think in the
Now I'm doing.
download folder it is there. No already.
Which one?
This whatever
See.
you download. No. Just start my download coming. No. You did
Yes,
download
yes.
it. Go to download
Yes, I
folder.
have downloaded. I
Yeah,
have downloaded.
double click that part, that whatever wherever it downloaded. Go to
Wait.
downloads folder.
Okay, okay. This one. See here, I'm
I
getting the
think
pop-up like a MySQL workbench.
you are sharing only this Chrome seems,
Okay,
not
okay.
entire screen.
I'm getting this pop-up like MySQL Workbench requires the Visual C++ 2019 redistributable package to be installed.
Okay, go to Microsoft. Go to Microsoft.com downloads, or search for that in the Google.
Okay. This one only, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Latest supported.
No, come down. That below community. This I think latest supported is also downloads. Okay, that one also will do. But this 2019 distributed package is there. No, that one you pick it. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any download option? What it is saying? Actually,
Uh,
downloads.microsoft.com will have this actually, or visualstudio.com, one other. What is the link it is suggesting here? I will have to running Windows application. Little bit come down.
okay.
Come down.
So what exactly is this issue? Sorry, I had to step out for 2 minutes.
Yeah, this Microsoft Visual C++ 2019
Uh,
distributable package is missing. That was she is
okay.
trying to download, but she is not able to find it.
You just there is that error.
Go
You
to
go to that
the
error.
error. Show the error again, Mansi.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
Ah, okay.
can you suggest?
You just type Visual C++ 2019 distributable package download. It will give you like that.
1 second. I'll be visual
What is it? C++
Visual C++
the
2019.
second option, right? Display distributable download. Yeah, click on that.
It is asking for Visual C++ 2019 redistributable
Redistributable
package.
package.
Huh.
Yeah. Now go to that search screen, and in that the second option is that only space redistributable download down second option. Select the second one.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's all. Click on this first option, first link, latest supported Visual C++ redistributable downloads. And scroll. Uh, Visual Studio 2015, 17, 19 is there, right? Scroll down, scroll down.
Okay.
Mm, just scroll up. There are few links there. 2019, search for 2000 Visual Studio C++. Just a second. Can you give me this link? Oh, just a second. Let me search in my local and I'll give you the direct link. Just a second.
Nowhere I can find the download option here.
Yeah, just a second. I will give you. I got the same issue. Visual C++ 2019 redistributable package download. Okay, you click on this link. It will download, I think.
Which one? My Visual
Pinging
C++.
you in the chat.
1 second.
I agree, and then install. It will just take a minute. Who else, apart from Mansi, does anybody else have this issue? Soumya, Mukesh, BG. Who is this BG? Anybody else has this issue?
No, no.
Okay, you may reach. No, just say close.
Close.
Now go to this installation. The what is this? MySQL Workbench installation. Say okay, and now click on finish. Now click on double click on that. We'll see. I think we'll see if it really needs an
This one.
restart or no,
VC
not
ready?
the other one. MySQL underscore workbench underscore community. Yeah, next. You should be done.
Next.
Next, complete. Yeah, next, install, and it should install this MySQL workbench. Maybe after the class, you can download and you can restart your machine and check. But for now, I think without restart, SQL workbench should work fine. We'll see that now.
Okay.
Finish. It will launch the MySQL workbench. Click on finish. Hmm. Uh, Expand this. Click on that plus icon next to MySQL connection.
Next to?
MySQL connections, there is a plus icon. Click on it.
Okay.
Uh, Say test connection. Say
Sorry.
test connection.
Test
Oh,
connection.
yeah. No, with root. Save. Okay. Where is password? Uh, Password. Click on the store in vault button.
Click on the
Store in vault.
store.
There is username root. Password is there. Hostname 127.0.01.
Yes,
Port
yes.
number 306.
Okay.
Username root. Password. Store in vault.
Okay, okay.
Here you give the password that you have given while installing the MySQL server, the server instance.
I have not given any password there.
It will definitely ask for a password. Do you have SQL server installed apart from this workbench? Or it
No,
is
no.
okay, then you need to install the SQL server also. SQL server. So, guys, you need to understand this something like this. SQL server is the server, and I think I have told this earlier also. Workbench is the client. So, to connect to the database and to retrieve and all, we are using a utility that is the workbench. That actual data is not stored on this workbench. It is just a visualization tool. Okay. So, Mansi, maybe you need to download the MySQL server. I have shared the Word document, didn't I? I thought I
Uh,
have already shared the document. So now maybe for the interest of time and for others, maybe you can download this MySQL server. So MySQL server, we'll just quickly go to that installation link, and after that you can download. Yeah, click on
MySQL server.
server download. Download MySQL community.
This
So
one.
yeah, select 8.3 version Windows 86. Click on this first one, download. No thanks, just start. No thanks, just start my download. So it will download you the installer. Once that installer is installed, then there it will ask for a password and all. You need to you can follow the document that is shared over the WhatsApp, and then you will see that everything should work fine. Then once you have everything installed,
Okay, okay.
okay.
If any doubt, I'll be sharing after the class. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Or maybe
Okay.
you can share it on WhatsApp also. We'll see. If not immediately, I'll see if I can respond in some time.
Okay, okay. Now the class will be disturbed. So after the class or if anything in
Yeah.
between, I'll contact. Okay.
So, yeah, sure. Guys, any questions on the topics that we have discussed till now? Or anybody? Okay, I'll take it as no, and then we'll uh, start our today's class. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
You can see my screen, right? So generally, we are writing
Yes,
the
yes.
queries like select uh, star from world dot
Keep color.
employee underscore details,
Keep color.
right? So it is printing me all the records here. Now I have a requirement wherein I have to sort the these things based on my employee name. Do you guys understand the requirement? I don't want to print them as and when they are inserted. I want to sort them based on the employee name alphabetically. That's my requirement. So ABC should come first, then maybe Venkat, then Venki, then Venkateswar Rao, or whatever is that alphabetical order. I want them to be sorted alphabetically. How can I do that? So
The input
in
show advanced show the
in
options.
MySQL there is something in SQL for that matter, maybe in Oracle or anything also you can use this
Together, program
keyword called as order by.
program
So we can say select
is somewhere
star from world dot employee underscore details sort by
కనిపిస్తలేదా
order by, sorry, order by uh, emp underscore name. So if I run use this order by, then if you, as you can see here, these are all alphabetically sorted, right? They are all sorted by alphabetical order based on name, because I want them to sort based on the name here. So order by employee name sorted them on based on that particular column. Okay, is this clear? This is a very simple thing. So is this clear, guys?
Yes.
Now I want to sort them in the reverse way. I want to get Venki first, Venkateswara next, Venkat, then followed by ABC. I want to sort them in the descending order. How can I do that? Any idea? We have something called as descending, DESC. If we use descending, then all these column values will be sorted in the descending order. Okay. Now you guys understand this order by clause? This is called as order by clause. Okay. Do you guys understand this? I'll take it as yes. Now I have another question. Let's say in my employee name there are some names in uppercase, and there are some names in lowercase. It's a combination. There are few in upper cases, few in lower cases, and all. But I want to sort them in the alphabetical order without ignoring the cases. How can I do that?
updating example database.
You see this, right? First, this is order by employee will actually order by employee will print them in the alphabetical order. Order by employee descending will print them in the descending order. But what if the name has cases? Let's say Venkat is uppercase. This one, let's say this is uppercase. So first it will come Venkat, Venki, Venkateswara, and ABC. I don't want to do that. I want everything to be considered in lowercase, and then I want to print them. So I can use something called as lower of. So the moment I say lower of employee, so what it will do is it will convert everything into lowercase, and then it will sort. Similarly, if you want to convert anything into uppercase, you can use upper of. For example, here I can just say upper of emp underscore name. So it will print the name in the upper cases. You see that? So these are the, so what is this upper and lower called? It is taking column name as an input and is returning something. So what is it called? We discussed this yesterday. There is a specific this specific operation to be performed, and for that we'll write functions. So lower and upper are the functions which will take the column names or any strings and will convert them into either lower or the uppercase according to their method that is being invoked. Is this clear? Guys, I want you to say yes, no.
Yes.
At least say I don't care. Okay? But don't keep silent. So yesterday we have covered functions, procedures, and what else did we cover? I think procedures and okay, we'll not go to yesterday's class. Okay, I forgot that. So now today we covered order by, and now we'll cover another important thing that is called as triggers. Okay, so what is a trigger? Trigger is something, you have a database table. So before insertion or update, before update or after update, or before insertion, after insertion, before delete or after delete, you want to make some entries, or if you want to perform certain operations on any other table, that time we call it, that time we write triggers. Okay, for example, the same example that I have given you yesterday, the moment you withdraw your amount, some entry should be made into the statement table, right? So after insert, they will make an entry to the statement table. Similarly, if you withdraw withdraw an amount, similarly a statement entry will be made. If you have updated your address, then also there will be an entry in your uh, account activity table, right? Yes or no? So for every operation, based on the operation that we are performing, we are logging everything. We are logging the user interactions into some table, right? For in those cases, we write use these triggers. Any questions on where do we use these triggers? Okay, I'll take it as no. Another example is that, if you are placing an order on the Amazon, so immediately on the in the Amazon warehouse also some data need to be updated, right? But the moment you purchase, the warehouse should also be updated that, of the total outstanding products available, one need to be reduced, right? Let's say you are trying to buy a laptop. There are 10 laptops in the warehouse. The moment you place an order, what should happen to the outstanding laptops that are available in the warehouse? The count should be 9 because you have already purchased one, right? In such cases wherein you make an operation in one table, and that will result, and you need to update multiple tables based on that particular operation, that time we use triggers. For our ease of understanding, I already created so let me create this table. I will quickly create a table called account. How do I create a table? Create table. And what is my table name? Account table, account data. And what is my column name? Let's say customer ID, trust underscore ID. What will be the customer ID type? It would be an integer, and it is a primary key. So I just said uh, this and the account balance. I'm just maintaining for ease of our understanding. I'll not make it complex. I'll just add these two columns, okay, and say apply. So now this is the table script. Maybe let me paste this script in the chat so that you all can use the same table. Okay. Now let me apply this, and now I got the table. Now I want to insert data into this particular table. Where is this account data table, right? So if you don't want, if you want to, if you don't want to write the script and all, right, you can click on any table in SQL workbench and you can go to send to SQL editor and then say insert statement. If you see here, it automatically generated the insert statement for me, right? Insert into world.account data, column names, a cust underscore id, comma account balance, values, some 1 and 2, sorry, some values. These are the placeholders. I just need to replace this customer id with 1 and say account balance with say 1000, right? So that way I need not, I need not write, but you can use this tool to generate the insert queries, update queries, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now I have account table. I want for every operation on this account table, I want an entry to be made into the statement table. So I need another table, right? I'll create another table called statement. What it will have, it will have custody, which is again not a primary key, not null column. Because why I am not making this customer ID as not null and not primary key? Because for one customer there could be multiple transactions that can be performed. So if I make primary key as unique key, primary key, then only for one customer I can have only one record. So I want to store multiple records for that particular customer. So I'm not making it as primary key. I'm just saying it is non null. And then I'll say that, transaction details. Okay, now let me apply this and copy this and paste for your understanding. Then apply. Now there are two ways. I can write a procedure and then eventually call that procedure after the insert, update, and all, but that's too much of dependency. So instead, what I'll do is that, I'll refresh these tables and I'll create a trigger on account table. If you see here, there are no triggers, so I'll go and create a trigger. Create trigger. What is the trigger name? Let's say update statement. On what table I want to create? World dot account data, right? So I have already created a table, the trigger. So just let me copy paste for to make things fast. I'll not write everything. But if you look at this, create trigger, update statement, after insert on what table? After insertion of every account on account data table, for each row insert into, let me copy this insert statement. Okay, let me, not this account statement, right? I need insert statement for this statement table. So send to send to SQL editor insert statement. So I'll just say one, and in this statement info, I'll just mention that, balance reduced by balance withdrawn from ATM. Okay, so now I'll write this insert. Yeah, insert into. So this is how we write the trigger. We say create a trigger after not insert, after update, after every update. I want this trigger to be executed on account data table. And for what should happen for each row update, not insert, update, for each row update, for each row insert into, for every row change, what should happen, an insert statement need to be executed, insert into statement table with these values. So let me execute this trigger statement, trigger creation. What, say no database selected, so I'll say on world.account data. So this will work, this should work now. Now let me run. What happened? uh, Select default db by clicking on. So insert into world dot statement. World dot statement. World dot statement. It is saying no database selected. Default DB. You will double clicking its name. Let me do this now. Now the trigger got created, and if I refresh this table, you can see that update statement trigger. You can see under the triggers section of this account table. Now this is after every update, right? So the trigger will insert a row into the statement table after every update. So first let me check what are the values that are present in world dot statement table. So let me run this, and we just created this table, so we shouldn't get any records in this statement table, right? This is an empty table. Now I'll go and update the account data. Update, what is the update syntax? Update world dot account data, set what is the column name, balance column name, account balance. Account balance is equal to, say, 50 or 500, where first underscore id is equal to 1, right? So I'm running an update query now. So according to our understanding, after every update, then a record need to be inserted into the statement table, right? So as you can guys can see, I just selected the update table only, I didn't select any other thing. So the update is successful, and then now I'll go and see whether this table update had any insertion in the a statement table or not. So as you guys can see, there is one data that is being inserted into the statement table now, right? So one, and then balance is withdrawn from the ATM, right? This is how triggers work. So you make an update, and then in the trigger you can insert, the database has the strength or the intelligence to execute all this. And you understood where do we use these concepts, right? So just like this, whenever you want to withdraw 100 rupees, you do an account, you do an update operation on the account table, but all your statements and all will be updated with each and every transaction, right? They will be handled through the triggers only. Is that clear? Any questions on this? I'll take it as no. But if you ask me, triggers are not used in the very high data sensitive operations, like where there will be millions of transactions, kind of things happen right in those scenarios. Generally, people don't prefer writing triggers because they will add a performance overhead. Okay, so if you are working on a small enterprise where you have maybe 100 insertions or 100 updates or 1000 updates at any given point of time, then we can use triggers and all. But if you are working in an enterprise wherein millions of transactions should be happening at the same time, then triggers are not the suggested way. Okay, to give you an example, if you are working for a SBI and if you take this approach of writing triggers, then it's a bad design. But if you are working for a small online or maybe a supermarket wherein everybody's on a billing application for a supermarket, then you can write trigger, because no two users would be performing the same inserts or updates at the same time, right? So that possibility is very less. That's where we can write triggers. But whereas in case of banks and all, we don't write triggers. It is because there the possibility of concurrency is very high. Concurrency as in meaning that at the same time two customers can be withdrawing the same amount of money. So in that cases, this will lead to complications. That's why we avoid writing triggers in real time. Okay, any questions? I'll take it as no. Okay. So now we'll go back and see this. You all got this. You better. Shall I paste the trigger also? Trigger syntax also here. Let me paste this. So this is how we create triggers, and then the next thing is group by. There is a concept called as, just like order by is there, right? There is something called as group by. So where do we use group by? In this employee table, if you use this select start from employee details, I see that there are department IDs and employees. So I want to know how many employees are working in a particular department with the same name. You got my requirement? My requirement is to identify the number of users working in a particular department with the same name. Here, what is how many users are working in the same department having the same name? 0. So how do I identify that? To identify such scenarios, we have something called as group. We will group and then count. For example, let's say we'll write it like select count of how many employees are there. So I'll say count of department ID, comma, employee name, right? Employee underscore name from world dot employee details, group by department underscore ID, comma, emp underscore name. With Venkat name, there is only one. Venki name, only one. Venkateswara name, only one. ABC name, only one. If let me go and update this table, Venkat to Venki, then we'll see whether there is any change or not. I want one of you to tell me this update query now. Update. No volunteers.
Update table name.
World dot employee details. Set emp underscore name is equal to let's say Venki, where employee name is equal to Venkat. So wherever the employee name is Venkat, I am just updating it to Venki. So let me, you are using safe mode, so I'll use this primary key, where emp underscore id is equal to, this is saying unsafe mode. So we need, there is something like, to make your updates more practical, SQL has something called as, safe mode and safe update mode, and that you need to it's very advanced level, and it's more of an what you call the administrator thing. So we'll not go there, where employee name is equal to employee id is equal to 1. So now it inserted, updated. Now let me go and check this. So for Venki, I need to get it as Venki 2. So group by, it is grouping by names and the department ID, but it should give this Venki. Why is it not giving? Maybe do we have spaces there? No. Group by department ID, comma employee name. I'll check on this and I'll let you know. Okay. But ideally, we are grouping first and then we will do the select query next. That's what group by does. Okay. For example, in this table, for example, in this select star from employee details, I want to know whether the name, there are any duplicate names. How can I check that? Select count of employee name, or select employee name, just group it by employee name and then print those names. So Venki, if you see here, how many records do we have in this employee details table? 4. But how many, the moment I used group by, how many records do I get in the output?
3.
Only 3, right? Because we have already grouped there. So Venki and Venki, the same name, it's the same name, so it grouped into one row. You got it, right? Yes, no.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what is called as group by. This is again another important clause we use in SQL, because I don't want to go into much details and all. We are having another clause like having, count and all that. To use those having clause, we need to use this group by as a precondition. So having and all are very advanced concepts, but we'll not go there. But you need to understand this group by thing well. I think in the previous case, I need to use count of star, comma, department underscore ID. Let me try with this. No, I'll check on this and I'll let you know. So, anything else on these topics? On the topics that we have discussed till now, any questions? No, right? So there is another concept called as views. We'll not touch that, but instead, when we were discussing about joins, during that time, we thought of checking about this full outer join, and then we realized that MySQL doesn't support this full outer joins, right? So how do we achieve that? If I want to, if you guys remember, we draw some Venn diagram kind of thing wherein we have department table, we have employee table, and there are some common points and all, right? So how, if I want to retrieve both employee details and the department details into one table, how do I do that? There is something called as union. Okay, we, that is called as full outer join. Oracle and other databases support, but unfortunately MySQL doesn't support. So instead what we can do is select employee underscore name comma, let's say um, employee name from world dot employee details union, select department underscore name. What is it? Department underscore name, I think. Department from world dot uh, department. Right? So we use this union clause to combine two queries, and then we can see this, right? You can see that, you know, one, they all got uh, added into one column, one row, sorry, one column. Like this, you can use union and union all to combine uh, columns and rows. To make it more readable, I can say comma department underscore ID where uh, employee details dot. Otherwise, I can directly say employee underscore ID dot ID is employee dot, sorry, where department ID is equal to uh, not this from uh, left join on left join. What is the table? Department on, and then we'll write this query, right? So we can write this left join query, and in the below thing we can use this right join query, and then we can do the union, so that it will give you the perfect name and department combination as the output. You got it? So union is, you know, generally we don't use this full outer join because, you know, anyhow we can read these two tables separately and then we can retrieve data. So full outer join, generally we don't use this, but left outer join and right outer joins, inner join, self joins are the most frequently used. Full outer join, uh, that's very rare, and mostly this informatica, the people who work on this informatica and those teams only will write this full outer join. Okay, that was one pending thing on me. So you can say that in MySQL we use union, and there is another thing called as union all. Both are same, but technically, but there is a small difference that union will allow duplicates and union all will not allow duplicates. Let's not get there and complicate things. So you can just say that you can use union, and it is okay to say that, you know, I never got an opportunity to work on full outer joins. Okay. Any other questions? Guys, any other questions? Anything like that? So I
Excuse me. That union function is not working from my side.
union is not a function. Actually, it's a keyword. You can just say, you just say word, select employee name from employee tables union, select department name from
Okay.
department, and it should work.
Select employee name.
I see. I can show you some more thing which is advanced. Some concept. Here I can see. Can you see that? Is it working? Okay. For in the meantime, while you are working on this, can you guys see my screen?
Voice is low. Excuse me. Yes.
Execution plan. Can you see there is a tab called as execution plan. So if you write any SQL query with
Your
joins and
voice is breaking.
okay, is it better now? So whenever you write any query using joins and all, you can go. I think someone has to go on mute. I don't know who it was, but yeah, there was a lot of echo. So whenever you write these joins and all, it is uh, it is good to know thing. It is not a need to know thing. It is good to know that there will be something called as execution plan. This is called as query execution plan, and the moment you write any query, the the database server will create the execution plan on how this query need to be executed. You can see it, right? Simple. There is a table 1, table 2, and these tables are being table 2 has primary key, which is reporting manager ID, and then where clause how this table is being how this query is being executed. For that, a detailed query plan is being displayed will be created, and you can see that query in the execution plan. Okay, whether there is something called as partitions also. If there are any partitions, you can see these primary partitions and what are the possible keys that are used in this query. There is a primary key that is being used. Are there how many rows are being filtered, and then extra where what is the extra clauses that we are using and all. You can see it in the under the execution plan. Instead visual explain also, you can go and say visual explain. It will load in few minutes, I think. No. So it is not for us, but those who do this query tuning and all, they will make use of this execution plan to see how to improve the query performance. Okay, at times whenever you are running this search and all, right, it will take lot of time because there will be lot of joins and all in that queries. So to make the query retrievals faster and all, there are certain ways like you pass hints like indexes. You will tell the database to use few indexes and all. So how that all is working and all, we can see that in detail in the query plan. Actually, in my SQL workbench, it is not shown clearly, but if you use Toad and all, it will give a very clear picture of what is being joined, what tables are being joined. One at the first join, what are the how many rows are being retrieved, and after using where clause, how many are being filtered out, and all those metrics, very minute details will be explained in the query execution plan. So you start looking at it, you may not understand anything, but the moment you start looking for every very very small queries also, then slowly you'll start uh, you know you'll start make understanding what this uh, query execution plan is. Okay. So, as a developer of any Java application or .NET or for that matter Python and all, these are the things that you need to know. At least in my last 18 to 19 years of experience, I didn't write any SQL queries or anything. I didn't use any PL SQL apart over these triggers, functions, and all. Views, I hardly used it one time. Triggers also, I used it only in one project. Most probably, so you should be very good at writing the joins, and that should be good for as a SQL as a programmer for you. Okay, that's what I can tell you for sure. Not just employee and department. What happens if you have to join a third table or a fourth table for that matter? Whether you are writing the joins correctly or not, you need to create your own schema, start creating tables, and then write these joins so that you'll understand it better and you should be able to explain it better. That's all from my side, guys. So now the call is open for questions. You can ask me any question. As I said earlier, it need not just be specific to SQL. How do we use, what are the uses and all. If you have any specific question, you can ask me. I'm fine with that. If I know, I'll tell you. Otherwise, I can just check and let you know.
Venki, can you give some light onto the in practical scenario how it is used the SQL? Generally, what happens either JDBC or ODBC, right? How which direction it goes, right? If you give that, people will attach to this. How when they are writing any program, how it will be connected to database and all, right? That one is yeah.
So for a moment, you consider database is a different system, and Java. I'm a Java developer for the last 20 years. So I'll explain in terms of Java, right? So you have Java in one layer, one you have Java and you have database. So how will Java talk to database? They are two different things, right? Just like Python is different from Java, database is different from the Java programming language. So you need an intermediary bridge or some translator kind of thing to work in between these two, right? Otherwise, what Java is saying, SQL Server doesn't understand, and what SQL Server is saying, database Java doesn't understand, right? So we need a translator. If you consider these two as persons, right? Java is talking in Java language and database is talking in database language. So we need a translator in between to translate between these things, right? For that we have something called as JDBC. We have something called as drivers. We'll not get into JDBC drivers, ODBC drivers, and all. There are something called as drivers. You can consider these as the translators. So whatever Java says, the driver will translate it into the language that is understandable by the database. Similarly, if database has to say anything, the driver is intelligent enough to translate that into a language or an output that is understandable by Java. That's how these two are being integrated. So there are different technologies that have evolved over time, like ORM databases. There is Hibernate. There is what is it? There was another tool. So there, what Hibernate was one, and there were a lot of technologies that have evolved over the database also. So. So any programming language, for that matter, the Visual Studio or .NET also, I think will have some connection to connect to database. They will have some drivers only. So what the driver is, how using those drivers, these two systems will talk to each other. For that, as an argument, right? If I want to build any student management system, then a form will be displayed on the UI, right, to fill the student information like what class he is, what marks he got, and all that. So the moment you click on that save, Java will invoke a system call to the database to check, or it will pass the data that need to be stored into the database. And then in Java only, we have, as we are using these drivers, we will write these queries and will directly execute these queries on the database. Whatever we have written, this insert into table values and all, right? So the same thing we will write it in Java, and then we can directly execute these statements in the database server. We'll write it in Java, execute in DB. You got it, right? The code would be in Java, but the moment you click on save, the code will be executed onto the database. The driver will convert this Java code into the machine understandable language of DBMS, and then it will execute that insert query. Similarly, update, deletes, and all also. So you need to be proficient. These days people are using this word called, what is it, and what is it called, Sri Krishna, the guys who write React database and all. What is that called? Full stack developers.
Full stack
Full
developer.
stack. So as a full stack developer, if you want to become a full stack developer, you need to be good at database, and also you need to be good at any one of the front end systems. Okay. So that's how. So you will write it in Java code, but the native code would be in SQL only. But Java or the driver will be intelligent enough to convert it into the machine understandable language, and then they will execute that particular code. Any other questions? If you guys don't have any questions, maybe then we can call it a day.
Can I share my screen? I have downloaded this SQL server.
Sure, Mansi. Yeah. If you guys don't have any questions, you can drop off. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Tomorrow I'll check on that group by thing, and I'll let you know maybe in the subsequent classes. But from tomorrow onwards, the other sessions will happen, and we are done with SQL for today. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Mansi, Venki, Mansi showing something.
Yeah, I asked her to share, and I am saying that rest of the people can drop off.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you view my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Did you install the MySQL?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now click on the set.
I have given the password. After that,
Test connection. Continue. Successfully connected. Say okay now.
okay.
And then say okay here also. Say okay. Improper name. You didn't give any name there, so that's fine. Click on okay. Now click on give a name. Connection name is there, right? In the first text box, give some name, learning or something, whatever you want to give.
Learning.
Whatever. You can give any name. You can give your name too.
Okay.
Say okay now. You need not give it. I think it is already stored. I'm not sure. Now click on that learning SQL. Continue anyway.
Don't show this.
Yeah, you can click on that checkbox. So it got connected to that particular database. You can go to the schemas folder, and you can expand this world, and you'll see the tables and all. So now you can write your own queries there. Nice.
Okay.
Expand the tables. Do you see any tables got created under tables? Yeah.
City, country, and country.
Country, language, and all. So you can start playing around with this schema now.
Okay.
And one more thing I just noticed is that today so instead of writing every time world dot and all, you can double click on this world. There is world there, right? You just double click on it. Double click. Yeah, now it got bold, right? So now you can directly say select from country. You need not say world dot country, world dot city and all. Directly you can say select star from country.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll check the videos and I'll execute some of the tables.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thanks for your time.